Yep.
I love it. All right, let's move on to the Miami Dolphins. Munaf, I'll tell you, I had trouble finding an actual angle on this one. I did finally find one after a lot of searching, but this roster seems to be kind of actually solid in a lot of respects, and I don't know that there's too many battles to be had on this roster. So I know you found a good angle on the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, and I think for me, what it was is at a certain point in the season last year, Rod, for this Dolphins team, they were really starting to utilize Jonnu Smith very, very heavily in that offense. And obviously now being traded over to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Darren Waller unretirement and trade over to the Dolphins came out of left field, I think, for everybody. But I think there is going to be some type of involvement for the tight end position, whether it is going to be Darren Waller. I don't think I'm very high on him. So I think these are going to be guys that probably be waiver wire pickers, whether it's Julian Hill or Pharaoh Brown, that was traded over, I believe, from the Seattle Seahawks to this Miami Dolphins team. Yes, didn't have a very impressive season last year at all. But I think the opportunity is going to be there. And we talk about Tua as well, right? Yes, he can throw a deep ball. Is it sometimes accurate? Maybe not. But it feels like there's a lot of checkdowns that do happen with tight ends and even running backs in this offense for the Miami Dolphins. And, when Mike McDaniels took over as a head coach here for this Miami Dolphins team, it seemed like that the players that they were acquiring was all about speed, right? Or we Tyreek Hill, one of the fastest, if not the fastest player in the NFL from a wide receiver perspective. Jaylen Waddle coming out of Alabama as well. Devon Achane, who was absolutely fantastic out of the backfield, catching the football, not only run the football last year. So it may be some check down, and I think there may be some opportunities for guys, whether it is Waller that does, get the rust off of his legs and shoulders after, retiring for a year, quote unquote. But I think we may want to keep an eye on some of these second and third guys in that tight end room for this Miami Dolphins team, whether it is Julian Hill or Pharaoh Brown there. So that's what I was looking at. I didn't see a whole heck of a lot quite yet as far as tight end information coming out of camp for this Miami Dolphins team. I didn't want to, again, steal your thunder of what you mentioned, because it is, I think that's going to be a conversation piece, obviously for this team and for fantasy perspective there. But I just wanted to mention that the tight end room here for the Miami Dolphins, something for us to keep an eye on during the season.
And I took a good hard look at that as well, too, because, you said you brought in Darren Waller. And remember when he was the hottest name in all of tight endville? I mean, 1,000-yard receiver
Yeah.
or 1,000-yard pass catcher, as it were, for the Raiders, and really just tearing it up. And every year you were fighting for Darren Waller. And I don't feel like that's the case anymore. I don't know that he feels like that's the case anymore, having retired and now he's coming back. So Pharaoh Brown definitely posed a very interesting do you get him and maybe draft Waller? And then if Waller doesn't return to form that we've seen in the past, then you load up on Pharaoh Brown. But then again, how real, how much of a factor, I guess, is the Miami Dolphins tight end going to be this year? We saw Jonnu Smith last year was the second leading pass catcher in the team as far as targets were concerned, and he had 884 yards, did Jonnu Smith. So he played a huge factor. So we know the tight end position can be a factor. It's just a matter of which one and for how long. And I think Pharaoh Brown rather is a great speculative piece,
Yeah.
especially late, if you don't think Darren Waller can get it done.
Yep. 100%.